السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. YouTube, كيف الحال يا YouTube? How are we doing? How are we doing, YouTube? We've got a banger lined up for you today, inshallah ta'ala, with our esteemed guest, Abu American, who is backstage right now. I'm going to bring him on shortly, inshallah ta'ala. And our brother Mitchell. Some of you guys may not know who Mitchell is, but I will allow our brother Mitchell to introduce himself, inshallah ta'ala. He's backstage now, in fact, alhamdulillah. Before I bring our two esteemed guests on, just get through some housework real quick. If you guys could, first of all, if you're new here, by the way, my name is Mahdi. Assalamu alaikum, nice to meet you. And I'll basically deal with relationships, Bev. You get me? With a focus on the Muslim community, how a man can get the best out of his marriage with his wife. And I use the word marriage specifically because we are Muslims and we get married. We don't have girlfriends. Alhamdulillah. We get married. So that's the focus of this channel. We do touch upon other things as we will be going into today, inshallah ta'ala. We will be going into that. But that is basically what we get down on this channel. So like the video on your way in. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Flipping like 5% of my audience are subscribed to the channel. That was a couple of weeks ago, my stats, just 5%. So sub the channel, barakallahu fikum. All right. Let's bring our brother Abu American on. Abu American, I think he's still there. He is. And our brother Mitchell. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Mitchell, how you doing, my man?
I'm amazing. How are you? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Pleasure to chop it up with you in person. This is the first time, alhamdulillah.
Likewise.
Akhi, Abu American, what are you saying, Akhi?
Is my mic on now? Is it on?
You're good?
You're good? Okay, alhamdulillah. So, man, alhamdulillah, it's been a minute, bro. I mean, we chat in the rooms, one on Telegram, but alhamdulillah, it's good to be back on with you. MashaAllah, barakallahu feek.
Alhamdulillah, Allah barak feek.
Can I take a minute to say?
Yes, please, Akhi. Tfaddal.
I'm not just saying this because I'm on your channel. I'm not just saying this, but I remember when we met, and I was like, there's something authentic about this dude, and I really like him. And alhamdulillah, I'm happy to see that you've like blown up the way you have. You have opened eyes in a way that I think very few can do, and it's important. So
subhanallah, Allah barak feek, akhi. Jazakallah kulli khair. I very much appreciate it. It comes with a cost, as you can imagine. But it's well worth it. It's well worth it, alhamdulillah. So Abu American, for those who maybe, because the channel has grown considerably since we last spoken, for those who might be new, seeing you here for the first time, please introduce yourself. I've had you on many times in the past, and then our brother Mitchell afterwards as well, inshallah.
Well, see, if I make funny hand signals, guys, because my remote camera like follows hand instructions, so excuse me. I am Abu American, better known as Abdurrahman. I am a revert. I accepted Islam in 1989. During the first Gulf War, I was with the
That's
US
when I was born, Akhi. That's when I was
born. I was with the U.S. military, at that time, and people were becoming Muslim just like in mass droves. Alhamdulillah. Then I was with this is important to the story. I was with a wife for like 26 years. Things went bad when I moved to Qatar, and I was working for the Wazir al-Difa. I was working for the Ministry of Defense there, and I just started getting married to women because I wanted to get back in the market, and things had severely changed. And I ended up in like a very, very like messy streak of marriages and divorces. And so I started asking myself, what's going wrong here? And, I got introspective. I came across like ideologies and concepts, and I started studying them in detail. And I realized, okay, I was making a lot of mistakes. I was doing a lot right, but I was doing a lot wrong. And then when I got back into relationships again, after I took that break to, do some self-reflecting, I still started having problems. And I was like, okay, it's not me this time. So that must mean it's the women. And then that's where I came in with the vetting and vetting women so that you can get that perfect balance as fixing yourself and making sure you don't let the wrong woman into your life. Mm-hmm. It took a lot of marriages and divorces to get there. I always say I make all the mistakes so you don't have to. And so I just teach dudes the mistakes not to make.
Alhamdulillah. And you have a vetting guide as well, which has been very popular. Actually, a lot of guys have been purchasing it from the description in my thing as well. Tell the brothers about it, actually, the vetting guide that you have.
Well, the vetting guide was, I kept on doing one-to-one consultations, less so these days, but I was doing one-to-one consultations. And a lot of guys were asking me questions that are like, yo, I'm having this problem. And I just noticed there was a huge overlap, in the problems. There were always, one guy was always suffering from a problem that another guy was suffering from. And I was like, why is this not discussed in one place? And then when I started looking at some of my issues, some of the issues I had, brothers that I knew personally were having, like at the time when I first started, like, collating this stuff in my mind from the past in Qatar, here, Germany, there, United States, I said, there's a consistent pattern across the board in terms of what they're doing and the women they're choosing. And I was like, so, some of these guys were just like good guys. And we know how it is being a good guy. It's very difficult being a good guy in a marriage. And so I was like, okay, you're good guys picking wrong women or bad women, if that's the term you want to use. And so the vetting guide was born in terms of like, okay, look out for these red flags and these warning signs because they're always there. It's just a lot of times men choose to ignore them.
They're always there. Barakallah. I want to repeat that. They are always there. Just a lot of the time, most of the time, men choose to ignore them. And when you eventually find out the crap that you find out, you go back in hindsight and you're like, oh my days, but I did see this and there was that, and I should have known better. You chose to ignore it.
Absolutely.
Barakallahu feek. And to those of you who maybe seen Abu American for the first time, Abu American's been in the game way longer than you and me put together, for that matter, as the majority of my audience are very young. And Abu American was the first YouTuber to ever put me on when I had like 400 subscribers on YouTube. Nobody wanted to put me on. So, and I said to Abu American, I will remember that. Jazakallahu khair, akhi Abu American. Wallahi.
No, man, like I said,
when you first trying to scrimp and scrape your way, and you understand it's hard, it's difficult. So I appreciate that, akhi, and I will remember that. Barakallahu feek.
Man, I was more than happy to, man. You were very honest and very open, and I was just like, there's something different about this guy. Alhamdulillah, I was right.
Alhamdulillah, no, I accept it. And our brother Mitchell, akhi Mitchell, please, akhi, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Mitchell. I'm also a revert, although much later than 1989. That's before I was born. I believe 2 years on the day, actually. But alhamdulillah. But basically, my background, I was a stockbroker for years in the U.S. and just, I wasn't cut out for the whole, having a career and normal life, so to speak. So I ended up just dropping everything there and moving to Mexico, and I've been here ever since. I spent about a year in Iraq helping one of my friends run a brokerage firm there, a Sharia compliant brokerage firm. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. I specialize in like options trading amongst a few other things.
Okay, mashallah. So, I mean, from a Shari'i perspective, I get asked this sometimes, and frankly, I don't really know much about it at all. What are the do's and don'ts from a Islamic perspective? What are we allowed to get involved in, and what do we have to stay away from in that world?
I mean, the main thing is going to be, in most places, if not all, will oblige this, is staying away from the interest, obviously, interest payments, and then you have different types of accounts. If you're trading CFDs or perhaps Forex, like some CFDs will have swap fees. So you just need to look out for that. So that might prevent you from going, let's say, short oil, because if you put that position on, you might get paid a swap fee. But options, a lot of people will, like we had, while I was over there, we had a new mayor come in town and he tried shutting down all the brokerage firms. It's just a misunderstanding, because they see people make sometimes a large amount of money in a short amount of time. But I mean, it's really no difference than, say, visiting another country and going from USD to Euro, or something like that. A lot of people that misunderstand it just say it's gambling, but it's not. You're actually providing a service by providing liquidity to the market.
Okay, interesting.
In layman's terms.
Okay, mashallah. So before, inshallah, we get into the meat of this discussion, brother Mitchell and Abu American, actually, our brother Dude Desi Abdul Hamid, he's sponsored a video request. And I said to him, actually, I'll be live with Abu American and Mitchell tonight, so you'll get the best of all three of us, inshallah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this website up on the screen. I haven't been through it. I've actually never heard of this term. I'm about to pull it up right now, and we'll run through it together, inshallah ta'ala. Apparently, it's called Grifolt's Law. I think, Abu American, you might know something about this. Can you see that? Can you see that clearly?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, Abu American, can you see that? So Abu American, I don't know if we can hear you right now. I think your mic.
Yeah, I'm talking with my mic muted.
Yeah,
I
that's
can.
it. So inshallah, we'll run through this real quick, inshallah ta'ala. First of all, Abu American, have you heard of Grifolt's law before?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I have.
Excellent. Excellent. So I haven't been through this article because when I get these sponsored video requests, I like to do it fresh so that, my reaction can be captured fresh. So what I've done is there's a bit of like intro garbage, but there's like a couple of inappropriate ads. So I've scrolled it down a little bit, but the article begins from here. So the female, not the male, determines all the conditions of the animal family, according to this article, where the female can derive no benefit from association with the male. No such association takes place. There are a few corollaries I'd add. Beyond the point, past benefit provided by the male does not provide for continued or future association. Okay. And any agreement where the male provides a current benefit in return for a promise of future association is null and void as soon as the male has provided the benefit. What do you make of this so far, American?
Well, I mean, by far and large, it is correct. I mean, it's kind of hard to say it doesn't. Even Islamically, I mean, we look, it's like, the female, not the male, determines the conditions of the animal family. In terms of like, we want matrimony, what do? They set the conditions of what they want in terms of a mahr, even though that's not really, from what we know from the Sunnah, but that's what they do. And then the whole thing, even like when like past deeds or good for her don't count now. There was a whole song about it. What have you done for me lately? What was that girl's name?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been known that this is how they are. They can't help themselves.
Yeah, and I think this is a trap that a lot of men fall into, thinking they can buy loyalty from a woman, especially if he feels that he's lacking in one area or a couple of areas or whatever, that he can compensate for that by buying her loyalty, and that's just not true, man. It's just not. It just doesn't work like that. Actually, it just puts your relationship on a fast track to the end. Okay, a promise of future benefit has limited influence on current or future association, with the influence inversely proportionate to the length of time until the benefit will be given, and directly proportionate to the degree to which the female trusts the male, which is not bloody likely. Let us start by saying much of the discussion on the Stickman site seems to start from the belief that Thai women are somehow different from all other women. So is this related to Thai women, this article?
So it looks like
Stickman Bangkok. Both in the good and the bad, and that their actions derive from the cultural milieu in which they were reared, and therefore no Western man can really understand their thinking without intensive cross-cultural study. I posit that this is BS. No man can ever understand what is going on inside the head of a woman of any culture, including their own, no matter how much they study. We should not kid ourselves. What do you make of that, Ikhwan? Is this true?
Yes and no. I mean, women are highly predictable because all you have to do is calculate what she's going to do with her emotions. It's right. You can't know what's in her head, because in her head is a lot of emotions, and we as men generally don't operate from the position of emotion. So we're very logical. So if you're sitting here trying to get into your woman's head, I remember I read this book, just as an example, and there was these alien race taking over the entire universe. I used to read a lot, science fiction, and they came to Earth and humans. And what they would do is they'd like mind crack open like every species and control these species with their mind and make them fight on their side. When they came to humanity and they cracked open the minds of humanity, madness came out, and it would kill them for trying to understand humans. This is what you will do to yourself if you try and get inside the head of a woman. You will drive yourself crazy. They think from an emotional, if you can call it thinking, they think from an emotional position. And let's not even act like this is totally bad. This is just their nature and how they are. So no, you can't understand what's going through their head. That's impossible. But you can predict where their emotions are going to lead them in terms of actions. And
not to mention, if I can jump in, they're all obviously emotional, but they're all starved for attention. That's all they ever want, attention and drama.
Yeah.
So the only way to control that is to create the drama yourself under a controlled environment. rather than instead of waiting for them to create it themselves, which is going to be much worse.
Yeah, if you listen to my channel, I call that the roller coaster. You give her the roller coaster. Don't let her control the roller coaster. You control the roller coaster. Roller coaster is her emotional ups and downs.
SubhanAllah. And I mean, Jordan Peterson has touched upon that with regards to order and chaos, and that men are order and women are chaos inherently. And the reason why men are order is because we're in the world dealing with chaos on a day-to-day basis. And when we come home, we want order. But then the woman, she's not exposed to enough chaos, so therefore she wants that drama from you, so to speak. I'm just paraphrasing roughly, basically. But this is interesting because I don't do this consciously myself, and not to make this about myself, but this is a comment that my wives have pointed out to me. And one thing they always say to me is that, Mahdi, you're so unpredictable. And I had to really think about this statement. I was like, well, am I unpredictable? And then I was like, it's true. I don't know what's coming next. And I'm with my wives as well. I'm wild. Like, you think I'm wild on camera? I'm way more wild off camera, way more. People think that this is an act that I put on. No, I have to like tamp it down so I can keep it, Islamic and PG. Off camera, I'm a nut job. And it's true, like, because I'm unpredictable, it keeps it exciting. Now, sometimes it makes them a bit scared, or is he going to go too far or whatever? But I get it. Like, one of the worst crimes you can do to a woman is to bore her, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. The best we can hope to do is to observe their behaviors and roll with the punches. This is where Grifolt's law is vital. All women associate with any man only so long as they derive a benefit from the association. This cannot be stated too many times. All right, the question I would have to posit to you two gentlemen would be, don't men do the same thing? Don't we also seek benefit from our male friends and even from our wives for that matter? And if we don't get some type of value in return, why would you continue said relationship unless it's your parents, for example, then, in which case the value is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is this not really a universal law?
I would pose that it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. You're only as successful as, the 8 people that you closely surround yourself with. What do they say? If you hang out with 7 millionaires, you're going to be the 8th one.
Right. I mean,
if you surround yourself with low value individuals, that's what you're going to be.
Yeah. Fair.
I remember hearing Myron saying once on Fresh and Fit that YouTube channels are hypergamous. And I was thinking about that statement for a minute. It's true. If you've got 500,000 subs, do you really want to spend 2 hours of your time doing a podcast with someone with 3,000 subs? Probably not. But if you've got 3,000 subs and someone with 400 subs comes along, that's why I say shout out to Abu American. Do you really want to spend it? Probably not. Most of the time, not. So we are looking for an exchange of value. And I know a lot of men get hung up on this. Like, why does she have to look for something from me? Habibi, you're looking for something from her as well. If she didn't give you the value that you were looking for, you would have a big issue as well. So in fact, it's a good thing to want to be used. It means you're useful. Actually, I stole that from Kevin Samuels. I want to be used because it means I am useful. If I cannot be used, I am not useful. Now, the value. Yes, please, tafadhal, akhi.
I had this conversation with a lady actually just yesterday at my office. She was calling me sexist because I said, women, they can have no function other than the value of being a woman. But a man, he doesn't have that. I said, if you walk into a McDonald's and you have 2 cashiers, 1 male, 1 female, a millionaire will come in and potentially marry that cashier. I said, but no millionaire woman is going to come in and marry that cashier man. You have to have value, both like functional and societal, if you want to call that allegorical or whatever. You have to have that as a man. It's just,
and that posits the argument that we hear all the time nowadays from women saying that how men have it so easy, when that's clearly not the case. There was a book that came out, my wife read it, and it was about a woman that was her argument. So she decided she was going to go on I believe a year and a half long experiment and be a man. And she ended up, it completely destroyed her own argument. She realized how difficult it was to be a man. And I think she ended up killing herself afterward.
Yeah. What was that girl's name? She killed herself.
I don't remember.
What's her name again?
Wow.
But that's something that like high value women like my wife, she's like, she realizes that she's saying, And she'll tell friends all the time, like, oh yeah, if you want to be with a high value man, then you're gonna. This is just the way they are. This is the way they act. They're gonna have multiple wives or girlfriends, whatever, whatever their situation is. But women just don't. A lot Western women in general don't tend to understand that.
No. Yeah, Nora Vincent was the lady. She sorry about the mess in the background, guys. She spent a year as a man. She intended to spend a year as a man, actually, and she didn't even make it. She made it like, I think it was 2 years. She didn't make a full year. She gave up, and it so psychologically and emotionally scarred her that it followed her for the rest of her life. She ended up killing herself. Actually.
Nora Vincent, that's what
when she realized how men were treated, how badly they were treated. She was truly shocked.
Wow. SubhanAllah. A bit of recent data that supports this proposition comes from a recent study in the UK. The findings were that for a period from the early 90s to the early 2000s, 90% of UK women practiced hypergamy. Hypergamy is a 15-cent, about 7 pence in Great British pounds, word for marrying up. The hypothesis in the study was, do women exhibit hypergamy or not? You start with assuming not and then disprove that. If they do not, then roughly 50% would marry up and 50% would marry down. During the period of study, the 90% of UK women married men that made more money than they did or had greater wealth. The 90% marrying up rate provides ample evidence that women, okay, this is Adi, we know about this. Before discovering Grifolt's law, I came to a similar independent, although not so well or concisely stated conclusion. A few years ago, whilst arguing with my 6 sisters about my intentions to marry a Filipina half my age, they argued that she was just marrying me to get a better life. After a few seconds of reflection, I retorted that this was true for every woman in the world marrying any man. This left them with no response. After all, who among us ever marries to have a worse life? We all hope that it will be an improvement. With women, it is doubly so since they have no intention of actually working to improve their lives. You know, I have to deal with women sometimes when it comes to work, like with the different things that I do behind the scenes in business. And I swallah al-azim, this one Andrew Tate's comment that I'm about to tell you lives rent-free in my head, which is women want to make just enough money to get by and that's it. They don't want to go above and beyond. They just want to make enough to be comfortable and that's it. I'm like, man, every time I find this roadblock or this obstacle, that comes back into my head over and over. And that was from his experience, obviously, with the whole cam business. And that's why women need managing. But it's absolutely true. They don't want to work. And frankly, I can't blame them. American, you have a good saying that men are muscle and women are skin. Explain that one.
Yeah. I was talking about that to my wife. It was actually a video we did together. I mean, she wasn't on the video, but we were discussing why men are similar to muscle and women are like skin. And basically men need to be exposed to, what was the word I used? I can't remember, but basically resistance. You know how when muscle builds, it's sort of, they say micro tears and it grows back together, which makes it bigger and stronger. And so this is what men need to do. They need to be exposed to adversity. I think that's what it was, in order to grow and be stronger. And women are like skin. If you expose it to adversity and all sorts of, problems, it gets scarred. So you need to protect it, and skin has to be protected from being scarred because scars can be permanent. And we know, like everybody else, we talk about alpha widowing. What is alpha widowing? It's an emotional scar that they never forget. They can never get past that. If you get a major scar, like I've got scars on my forehead from a car crash, they never go away. And so women are like skin. They need to be protected and kept away from adversity to be in their purest and best form. And men, to be in their best form, need to be exposed to adversity.
So let's get to Korsky's question. Who is a whore? And my initial response, they all are. By Grifolt's law, if a woman is associating with you, assuming you're a man, then she is doing it because she sees some benefit, either current or in the future, from that association. How is this different from the bar girl or soy cowboy? I think only in the duration of the intended association, the amount of benefit expected, and in the woman's acceptance of delay in getting that benefit. Guys, let's get real about this. It is past time to take off the rose-colored glasses. I was watching a video by MTR, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, the other day. And he said something very interesting. I actually requoted him on my community post, and he commented on it. And he said, men are masters at manipulating their environment, and women are masters at manipulating men. I was like, that's profound, man, because it is true. Men are very good at bending the world to, you know, whichever direction they want to take it in, so to speak, progress. And then women are masters at extracting said progress through men or from men, getting it from them.
Yeah, that's all about the mind, and that's why the ones with the iron minds, the women attach themselves. They just latch on, and that's why so many of them are willing to. You know, people might disagree with me on this, but a lot of women are ready and willing to attach themselves onto a man that already has multiple women. They don't care as long as they get that little bit of attention. They'd rather have that. They'd rather share a high value man than have a low value one to themselves.
Right, but when we say high value now, let's define that real quick, because there's a lot of rich men. I'm not going to say a lot. There's a number of wealthy men who still struggle with women, and who women she'll use him for his resources by all means, but she's not really that into him. So, yani, for those watching, Akhi Mitchell, what else does a man require other than resources in order to maintain the affections and attention of a woman long term, and not just be used as a cash cow, basically?
Fitness, networked. I like to use the term, like, whenever you walk into a room, you want other people that are seeing you to go, who the hell is this guy? And how do I I want to talk to him. I think Andrew Tate had something. He said he went to a Bugatti meetup, and he's the poorest one there. They're all old, boring billionaires. And he walked in with two beautiful women, and they all wanted to talk to him. So when women see that, or when you walk into, I have my places I go to here in town. If you walk into those places and they all greet you by your first name, say, how are you doing? Oh, do you need a car wash today? This and that. They're going, the women that you take there are like, how does he know everybody? I've had meetings there before and had girls getting closer and closer and closer to me until she grabs my leg, and afterwards she was like, you were so hot addressing all those guys at once, and commanding the room. So they like to see stuff like that,
Can we skip back to 2 points?
Yeah, please, Akhi.
This guy says in here that all women are whores. And wallahi, I just made a video yesterday. I was coming back from my other wife's house. I have 3 wives, guys. So I was coming back from my other wife's house, and I record videos in my car. So if you ever watch my channel, I have poor quality video. It's because I don't like to waste time. And I literally was talking about this. And I said in that video, and I've said it before, I said it on Twitter. If you see me on Twitter, I've said it on YouTube. Not all women are whores, but they all wish they could be. There's a difference, and you have to catch that nuance. When you are, inshallah, when you get married, inshallah, if you get married to multiple women, always understand that point. You didn't marry a whore, but you married a woman who wished she could be. So treat her accordingly, and that doesn't mean disrespect, but women like, as we see from the confessions on Instagram, women love debauchery. So if you got your halal on, get your halal debauchery on. That's the first thing. So don't make the mistake that a lot of these guys make. They put on this nihilistic, oh, woe is me, if I marry her, she's gonna have like 97 bodies, prior to me. It's not like that. She might wish she had 97 bodies. Treat her like you're gonna be Mr. 97 bodies, embody her that. And then the second one comes down to social proof, where he's talking about women want, our brother was talking about that. Women love men that have other men. And it's just crazy we're having this conversation now, because I told my wife, Ling Ling over here, to download this video for me. And the woman was asking, if this guy that I'm talking to doesn't have women, what's wrong with him? Why doesn't he have women? Why don't other women want him? I literally downloaded that video to make a reaction to it today. Social proof is real, guys. The more women you have, the more women you get.
It's like money. Frankly speaking,
and they all want to fight to be number one. So a lot of them don't mind being the side girl or second wife, whatever. But they love that attention That's why they don't mind it, because when they see that you're spending time away from, let's say, Maine, like, wow, he's giving attention to me right now.
It's funny you said. I was speaking to had a consultation with a brother the other day who he's got a very big social media following, and he's very well known in the Muslim world. And he said to me, literally, Mahdi, he said to me, I'm getting around 20 to 25 marriage proposals per day. Okay, per day, just on Instagram DM. It's like the ultimate funnel that he's got. And he said to me, wherever I go, it's a fitna. Wherever I go, women, sisters with hijab, they want to take pictures with me. They want to and then they're trying to drop the whole conversation. They know I'm married as well. And for every 25 to 30 women that are marrying, that I want to get with this brother, there's 25 or 30 brothers who are just being completely ignored. And this is where social media, it really has changed the game in that regard. If you have a social media following of any sort, even a small one, but not massive, just a small one, it's like a massive funnel of women into your DM. I'm sure you must have experienced this yourself as well, Abu American.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's this perception that I don't know where it came from, that I hate women, but even those women who've heard that perception, they'll still hit you in your DMs. They'll cuss you in public and then be all sweet talking you in private. They got to put on front for the sisterhood.
Because what are women gonna do when they see when they look at an Instagram profile, or they're scrolling through their DMs with all these simps messaging them, and they see one blue check? What's this? Or like a message that's not a simp message. They're gonna pull up your profile. They're gonna look at how many followers you have. For example, on Instagram, I have like 58K followers or something. So I'm gonna get a lot more reaction than the guy with 200 followers on Instagram.
And this all just fundamentally boils down to women's, and this is not a jab at women, it's just an objective observation, is that they're not very good at choosing. They don't really know what markers to look for. So it's like, oh, there's loads of people going that way, I should go that way as well. If loads of people are following him, he must be a good catch. He might not be, it doesn't mean anything. It could just be some joker on TikTok who went viral, which often is the case actually nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Muhim. So how does this help? If you know going in that she is there to derive a benefit, then make sure you are willing and able to provide that benefit, that you're willing and able to continue to provide that benefit, and that the cost to you of providing that benefit is worth the benefit you derive from the association. Be aware that when the benefit to her stops, the relationship will stop. Have no illusions. I mean, what do you have to say about this, Abu American?
Yeah, this is that nihilistic ideology that I'm talking about right here. There is a degree of truth to this if you are a guy who has not developed himself into being the best possible version of himself that he can be. Absolutely, you're going to have to derive a benefit to her in order to be with you. But if you're a man who's on his mission, and you don't do this for the women, you do this for you. You do it for your results. You study, you work, you do whatever you have to do so you can get what you want. And women coming to you is the results of the work, just like your Bugatti or whatever it is you buy with all your hard work. That's when women invest in relationships with you. If you are a high value man, and you guys were just talking about this high value man, if you've taken the time to make yourself the best possible hypergamic, whether you accept that term or not, hypergamy, if you make yourself her hypergamic maxim, you are the best she can find in her area. We're not talking about the internet. The internet is a whole different world. But if you're the best in her area, realistically that she can get, she's going to work hard in order to keep the relationship with you, because you are going to be a man that's going to have like a target on his back in terms of other women. And she knows that. One thing that guys try too hard to do is make their women comfortable when they do get high value. And I'm sort of ranting here, and I apologize if I'm going off too much. But the reality is, this only applies, what he's talking about. Which way is it? This way? Yeah. This only applies to guys who aren't doing anything. This is for the McDonald's guy. You better benefit her, Mr. McDonald's guy, because as soon as Mr. BMW guy comes by, he doesn't even have to be a Lambo guy. You're under the bus, because she's gonna be like, oh wow, and then she's gonna dress up for that guy. She's gonna put on makeup for that guy. She's gonna do everything it takes to get that guy, because she doesn't have to do anything to get you, because you have to do something to get her.
A big part of that is acting uninterested as well.
Yeah.
Don't give them attention when they beg for it. When they're acting negative, you take that attention dial and turn it to 0.
Yeah.
And ignore them until they start acting right, and then you start turning that attention dial up, because as previously stated, that's all they really want. Isn't it? At that point, you're providing the drama and the attention.
That's in my Discord. That's in the Discord today. That's in our Discord. I was just discussing this today with the brother. But guys, just an important point. I'm sorry, I rant. I do this. So understand that if a woman is into you, she's doing things for you. It's not the other way around. She's not really into you if you're doing things for her. She's into you when she's doing things for you. People get mad when my wives tie my shoes for me. They're into me. They do stuff for me, you know? But when you're out here, roses, chocolate, whatever else, and she's like, sorry, guys, you know, you're not that guy.
You know, to build on Mitchell's point, actually, I've got a feel for where this article is going, and I'm going to wrap it up in a second, that article. But before I do that, there's a video that I saw yesterday. It's an old Kevin Samuels short. Well, it must have been made. The short must have been made recently, but you can tell it's old because Kevin Samuels looks like significantly younger. I'm going to put it up real quick because this speaks to what you were just talking about just now.
I'm confident because I know what I have to offer. I walk in feeling like the man, so I act accordingly. Yeah, a woman wants a man looking good and smelling good. And then if you walk up and approach the right way, you darn sure gonna get that number. But here's the thing. I told you I don't get that number. I give them mine. And I tell them when to call me. And if they don't call me when they should, and they decide to call me when they get to it, I'll pick up the phone and say, you were supposed to call me at 2. You need to call me back. And hang up. If they don't call back, I don't want to deal with them. Well, guess what happened? They call back. Not only is she gonna call back, she gonna call back anticipated, because she's gonna be like, ooh, this joker just put me in my place. I got me a real one right there. Twisted. I know it's not what we were taught, but that's the truth. I'm confident because I know.
Oh, he's rocking that titanium pimp in there.
I found this hilarious. I was like, yo, that's some high level game. I don't take her number. I give her my number and I tell her when to call me. That's harder.
That's pretty good. I like that. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. I know.
I used to do a similar thing on like years ago, back in like 2015 on dating apps. I would just go, because I'm like, dude, this is a funnel. I'd explain to my friends and be like, how do you get all these girls? I'm like, you have them on Tinder. How many guys are they talking to on Tinder or whatever right now, versus how many are they texting? So you do like maybe 3 messages, and I just send my phone number. Some of them would be like, oh, you expect me to just text you? And I just wouldn't respond, and they text me every single time.
Wow, deep, subhanallah. Turning your back on the shadow, man, and the shadow just follows you. So I'm telling you, everyone, you know. And by the way, I've noticed, because for some reason, a lot of what's the name of that the black comedian, the fat guy who died in 2011? He was one of the first guys to talk about Patrice O'Neill. So I've seen one YouTube channel started spitting out his old content from the mid to late 2000s, and I've noticed actually that Kevin Samuels must have picked up a lot from him, because a lot of the way that he would deliver his message was in the mold of Patrice O'Neill. But Patrice O'Neill was way ahead of his time, because he was speaking like that in the 2000s, when like this was like, you can mamnun, completely forbidden to talk like that. You know,
he really was ahead of his time. I remember when I stumbled across him. That was like early in my journey, and I was working in London. I was actually working in Old Street at a tech company, and so we could just like have YouTube on and whatever else while we were doing our job in tech. And I think for that year, I listened to his videos just 8 hours a day on my headphones while working. God,
wow.
I mean, there isn't a single interview that he was on that I didn't hear, a single comedic skit that I didn't watch. He was way ahead of his time.
All right, I've pulled the article off now that we were just going through, because I've gotten the gist of where this is going. I'm getting MGTOW vibes from this article that we just went through, which is basically women only want you for a purpose, and if they don't have that purpose, if you don't have a purpose to them, then they are not interested in you. And my response to that would simply be, what's wrong with that? The truth of the matter is we are the same. It's just we want less from them, or we have less expectations from them. Women have this bucket list. Yeah, I need A to Z. Men have a small bucket list, couple of things. But if she was not providing those things, you would eventually take some sort of punitive measure of some sort. Either you're going to sit down and have a discussion, or you're going to have a period of time where you're not together, or you're going to divorce her. So to the brothers who might be getting a bit hung up on this thing that, oh, women only want us for something, that's just human nature. We all want each other for something. We are all looking for some type of value exchange. And I don't see anything wrong with that, because the truth of the matter is, if you don't have any value to offer, you're a leech. You're a leech. So I don't see any issue in this. Now, not to say to go in blind and give everything to her. No, that's why we have this side of the internet in the first place. Let me just put up the super chat real quick. Shout out to you, Richard. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Babylon falls and Babylon rises. The hijabis will persist as we near Yawm al-Qiyamah. The average Muslimah on her deen is going after Tyrone or John. Tfaddal, ikhwan, please.
Hey, if Tyrone and John are Muslim, what's the problem?
This is a very nihilistic comment, Akhi Abu American. Please break it down.
You know, this I don't even know where to start with this. I mean, the average Muslim on her deen is going after Tyrone and John. Okay, we have to look at Tyrone and John. Let's look at Tyrone and John in general. What does that even mean? I mean, you're automatically classifying certain individuals with certain attributes, with certain negative attributes, and those attributes are always the ones you don't have. So yes, this is nihilistic. Tyrone is probably some big muscular black guy. That's why they call him Tyrone, right? Well, there's nothing to prevent you from going to the gym and be muscular. I mean, okay, say you're 5'2". I met a brother. He's 5'2". He's literally like he's smaller than any woman I know, but the dude was built like a tank. He learned game. He took care of himself. You know, he was very confident. He was competent in his career field. And what did he do? He had women around him all the time. He took care of what he had. Looking at what everybody else is doing and then like judging the results that they get, you're not going to get far on that. I'll tell you that I work in upper high management. That doesn't work in career. It's not going to work in your life. You have to provide value as an individual and who you are. I was teaching a brother from London some game, and he's always asking me for lines. I'm talking to this girl. She said this. What do I say? And he eventually got married. And I mean, mashallah, he got married to, wow, mashallah. I was like, bro, there's no way you should have those. I don't want to be me, but brother, mashallah, he's good. He's watching this. But mashallah, the brother landed. But because he was using my game, it didn't work over time. And I was like, develop your own game for who you are. He was like very nerdy, like very smart guy. It's like, then you go for the competence field. You don't go for like the cocky funny, because that's not your thing. Everybody, this whole Tyrone, John, this, that, the other, this whole, oh, this guy's got that, and I can never be this, is very, very, very nihilistic. It's just, I should be disadvantaged as a black guy. When you look at the statistics, OkCupid, they did the best statistics out there in the world. You can even find Tinder statistics. We are, as black males, very low on the long-term relationship marriage scale for women in general, of any ethnicity. Yet here I am, multiple wives. Why? Yeah, because I don't buy into that paradigm. Okay, yeah, that's your statistics. Watch me work. Okay, you go ahead and do your thing, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not denying the obvious. Women prefer taller men, and generally speaking, looks is a thing. Looks matter, and so on. But my only retort and response to that would be, guys, okay, let's say you're shorter. What are you going to do about it? Sit and cry? How does that help? It doesn't help. It's not useful. It's not helpful. We're men. We're solution oriented. Accept the situation for what it is. Okay, this is the scenario. Fine. What can I do to improve myself? Your genetic legacy has made it all the way up until now. You think you're the first one who's going to struggle to find a mate? It's just because, and this is why I'm in two minds with regards to this side of the internet, because initially the men are like, yo, this is amazing. And then it very quickly turns into, there's no hope for me. So what's the point in even trying?
That's all just adapt and overcome. It's the same thing in the military, adapt and overcome.
It's almost as though they were better off just staying plugged into the matrix. Should have taken the blue pill. They would have got a mate if they'd taken the blue pill.
I think what we're doing now is modern day, like just genetic selection. I mean, there was a degree of men who were just not good at being men in the past, and so they didn't reproduce. And so now we have technically the same thing happening, just on a social level. uncomfortable truth, maybe.
Nah, barakallah fiqh. So, Akhi Abu American brother Mitchell, then, yani, I know you guys have a couple of things, inshallah, that you wanted to go through. Please take it away.
Shall I or shall you?
Go for it. Go for it.
MashaAllah, barakallahu feekum. Yeah, jazakallah khair.
There's a notification bell going off. I don't know which computer it is.
It's my WhatsApp. I'm literally here trying to turn it off. I'm like, why is this thing not? It's my WhatsApp for PC. Apologies, guys, about that. I can't turn it off for some reason. As you guys know, I've been trying to help guys for quite some time. I've been very not present on social media a lot recently, but my desire to help brothers, and improve their lives, especially in terms of relationships, which is my field. That's still there. That's still in me. It was always an honest thing to always want to help people. And there's always been that balance of trying to find the time wasters and the people who are serious. And so my brother Abu Malik, Mitchell, and we came up with a plan on how we can set up a way for brothers to seek help and find help. And actually, we even had a case today where we were helping a brother out with some vetting. Not vetting, but basically some relationship stuff, but in terms of vetting. And we came up with a community on Discord, because apparently Discord is a thing. I'm an old man here. I'm learning new things. I'm always trying to self-improve, and we're trying to help brothers improve. And so this is everyone is asking me about my men's community, and my men's community, it's not even a high price, but I put for Muslims, for us as Muslims, I put a high ticket price on it in order to keep out jokers and clowns, because I had a lot of trolls in the past. We're going to try our best to help everybody in a general sense in terms of masculinity. For me, that means not only being good at being a man, but being a good man also. So for us, that means being a good man is Islam, and being good at being a man are these issues of masculinity, combat sports, working out, money, and all these types of things. And this Discord is just that. Our brothers, we've invited all of our brothers. Our brother Mahdi's there. This is not a competition. This is not for no strings attached. I think what the brother's doing there is an amazing thing. We even discussed this. I said, bro, bring it and drop it there. So what we want to do is build a general community that helps everybody improve. We have our brother here, options trader. We got another brother. He's a millionaire. He's got multiple cash flow businesses, from Coke machine businesses to washing machine businesses. We got another brother's in sales. He just posted his September sales for $10,000 in a month. Got another brother who's in HR. It's all business related. Drop in and add value to the community. I don't want to be rude, but we don't want people that don't add value, just like women don't want men that don't have a value. What are we going to do with men who don't have value? So if you're not there providing value, come there to gain value, and learn how to increase yourself and improve your value. More than welcome for that. And
then post up your win after that as well. I love seeing those, whether it's small or large. And it's not limited to Muslim men. It's open to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody with good intention. Yeah. And then we've also got my wife and Abu American's wife running the women's section as well. Yes. And, posting up their content, whatever it is. But, we cover everything there. We cover, we've got creators in there, so including myself, you can access my content. We've got obviously finance, fitness, wellness, mindset, a lot of relationship stuff. Abu American's got his vetting guide, sister stack, stuff there, polygyny, household, networking, all kinds of stuff. It's called the Syndicate. You can get to it at syndicatediscord.com.
And the link is in the description right now, guys. It is an affiliate link. You'll find in the description of this video. You can click on it there. And I will add one thing and I will just touch on the community element, okay? And even I underestimated this with No Strings Nikah. I didn't think the community element would be a big deal. I was completely wrong. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to be in a community of like-minded individuals in the field that you want to improve in. And if we are to be more specific now with regards to the syndicate right now, you have a collective of Muslim men for the most part. And as you mentioned, there will be non-Muslims are welcome as well, but Muslim men for the most part who are trying to improve in areas of the different areas of life that are relevant for a man to improve on. And it is so helpful to just be in a community where you can ask questions, bro, and get some type of support and feedback and a different perspective, or even just like a conversation. Because a lot of the complaints that I get from young men is I'm lonely. I know it sounds really sad, but I get this a lot. Wallahi, like, it's like, at first I was like, bro, what are you talking about? I'm lonely. Nothing. I thought maybe the privilege is invisible to those who have it. And maybe that applied to me in this instance. And I get it a lot. I'm lonely. Like, I'm really lonely. And the community element is so powerful in just giving someone that little something that he might need in his day, or for the sisters for that matter, because you mentioned that you've got sisters as well. And it's $10 a month right now, right?
Yes.
For the first 100. Price going up after that.
Okay, how many guys you got in there already?
Right now, I mean, we've got a free. You can join for free. You're only going to get access to, a couple channels where we'll post up.
Oh, there you go, then, guys.
Content, but you gain access to all of the. We've got 118 now. We haven't even marketed it really yet. I don't think, though. I think this is
no. We haven't done any real marketing. No, but we've got. I mean, not anything serious. But yeah, over 100 people are in there right now. But in terms of like people who've upgraded to the actual chat.
56 left.
Yeah. There's 56 left. You say?
56.
Okay.
Saw a spot.
Yeah. So we have sisters also. So that they're counting also, and the sisters are actually quite active. They are segregated. You cannot interact with the sisters. Please don't try. We will boot you. Yeah.
So for $10 a month, guys, I mean, look, you're going to spend more than that on your Netflix subscription. And if you don't like it, the worst case scenario is that you just cancel your subscription and you're done with it. But I will rephrase that point again. The community element is so powerful. You mentioned that there's going to be finance on there. You're going to have access to multimillionaires in their respective industries. All of that is far more valuable, in my opinion, than the community element. But then again, privilege is invisible to those who have it. And I again and again and again, the community element has been pointed out to me on my own app, how important it is, how beneficial it is, particularly for the 30% of men between the ages of 18 and 30 who are involuntarily celibate, who are lonely. This is a good place for you to be as a Muslim man. So check it out, try it out. The link is in the description, inshallah ta'ala, and I'll see you guys in there. Before I pull up these super chats, Ikhwan, is there anything else you wanted to go into on the syndicate at all?
No, you're just welcome. Like, come in and be active. That's the most important thing. We want you to come in and be active. It's not, we don't. The reason why we kept it separate is not. It's not. This is like my men's community. It's not a matter of the price is there to like profit. That's all nice and well and fun, but we want people who are actually there to interact and actually do something. If you come in and you're just lurking in the corners, it's a bit weird and it's not beneficial to anybody, yourself included. Come in, be active. And start learning those attributes that a lot of guys, they speak to me on my channel about, like, how do I get to be more confident? When you come in and you start talking to people, in situations that make you uncomfortable. And if you're like, it's highly anonymous, but people still won't do it. They'll come into the groups, and then they'll just lurk and they won't say a word. Why?
I want you to come in and brag. I want you to come in and say, I just got my second wife. I just, made a bunch of money this month.
Inspire.
Post it up. Show people how you do it and help each other out.
Yeah, inspire people. This is what we want. Want people to inspire. This brother he's not even half my age. He's less than half my age. The brother cleared like 12,000 in September. I was like, mashallah, I do well, but I'm like, mashallah. I was like, okay. This brother, he just picked up his trade like not even a full year ago. I love to see that stuff. It shows me that I still have place to improve, like in a lot of different places, I mean, I'm like, mashallah. So we got brothers in there killing it, man. That stuff is inspirational to me. You can't let that stuff turn into Tyrone and John mentality. We want you to come in there and be like, yo, how do I become this or my own version of this? This is what we want people to do. Come and be inspired, learn, ask questions, and talk to these brothers, because these brothers are more than happy to share what they have. They're not scared. They know risk is from Allah. So they know teaching you how to get it isn't going to take away from them, because this is written for him. So,
hey, well, barakallah fiqh. One question I get asked a lot is, how do can you put me in contact with certain high-profile individuals? Or I saw you with this guy. No, bro. First of all, I can't just put you in touch with him, because it's an unequal exchange of value. Yeah, there's 101 other people who also want to get in touch with this guy. It's not just you. All right. Second of all, okay, you want to be around those type of individuals because you understand and appreciate the importance of, as Mitchell mentioned just now, that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Okay, well, here's your opportunity. There you go. $10 a month. Get in there. And if you don't like it, you know, it's for chicken and chips, bruv. Literally. With inflation today, that's chicken and chips.
Hey, and you know what? To prove, me and Abu Malik, to prove that it wasn't about the money, we did something else. When you come in, you type /refer, and you'll get a referral link. If you refer someone to the community, if you find benefit there and you think, hey, my homie, he'll benefit from this, you send him your referral link, you get 50% of that. So we're taking $5 out of our pocket and putting it in yours. And
Every
that
month.
is not one time that's reoccurring. So every month that brother stays there, you get $5. Now, I don't know if you guys know about Hustlers University, but they were doing single time, like one-time payments to guys who got like 1 month in. Dudes were making $50K a month off of Hustlers University. Get 100 people in there at $5 a piece, whatever else, so the price goes up. You know what I mean? It's not about the money. It's about getting that mindset together. So we're even willing to just prove, we're willing to prove it's not about the money. Come in, use your referral link. We're going to take money out of our pocket and put it in yours, you know, because we're real. We're serious about this. Beautiful. And get your wives in there. These women, the women are really active. They're really.
What type of conversations are the women having, Akhi? Like, what type of topics do they? Don't you need to go into specifics, but what are their interests? What are they interested in?
Listening. Speak up. You want to speak up? Okay. She showed me this here. Now, I only have access to the women's area because I'm an admin and I'm you know, and whatnot, a moderator. But they have different rooms on. They have fitness and wellness. They have hair and makeup. They have style and fashion, cooking, homemaking, motherhood, networking, book club, Islam, and femininity is something that my wife wanted to add. It's, you know, she's going to add a section for parenting, you know, and children. So, yeah.
And my wife will be adding,
and they're chatting it up.
My wife will be adding a guide that she's created on basically how to be a high value woman. And it's very, very detailed. I've seen it myself.
Mashallah.
Mashallah. And this is especially useful for the brothers who do have stay-at-home wives. You know, the women can get bored sometimes. Let them have a nice place to go and chat instead of her chatting on some random forum with sisters that you got no clue who they are. She's in a place, alhamdulillah, that, you know, you can trust and be comfortable knowing that, okay, alhamdulillah, she might be spending hours on her phone, but so what? She's with good sisters, alhamdulillah.
And no worries, guys. There is a verification that they are women going into the women's section. You know, so don't freak out. There's no men over there, myself included. You know, I don't mess around over there. I got enough on my plate. No brothers are getting in. So
excellent.
No worry there.
Good stuff. The link is in the description of this video, guys. You can find it there, inshallah ta'ala. Check it out. And I'll see you guys in the Syndicate, bi'idhnillah. Thank you for the $20 super chat, Giuseppe De Freya. What do you think, please, about the Taliban ban on women's education? I know in the past women were genuinely oppressed in medieval Europe, but there's reasons behind it. The Taliban ban on women's education is harsh. My knowledge on this is elementary, so I'll pass this over to you guys.
I don't think it's necessarily a ban, is it? I think that's how the Western media likes to spin it, like they do with everything.
The only thing I've seen on this is some random video clip from Piers Morgan playing a video of supposedly a bunch of Afghan women crying in a classroom. It looked so choreographed. Why are they in the classroom? I thought they were banned. Anyways, so they're all in the classroom. They're all crying. Oh, they can't study anymore or whatever. Tate was actually pushed on this question in his interview with with Piers Morgan as well. Why do you care? Why do you care? Do you really care, or is it because it's the Taliban? Which one is it?
So it's quite specific here, actually. I'm just looking up, and it's on universities. It's not general education. So it says higher education. Now, this is interesting because we know statistically, and I learned this from you, Matthew, that, okay, I knew that 70% of all women in the West initiate divorces from their husbands, but I didn't know from that 70%, 90% of those women have higher education.
Yep, college educated women, university educated women. That's right. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not saying that's justification for like banning women from like, you know, higher education, but I am saying that is alarming, you know, especially when you look at the direction Western society is going. Okay, so if we have all these women like exiting marriages and whatnot, you know, what happens? What's going on? I mean, we see Western society falling apart, and I've said this multiple times. I said this in the recent video I was talking about when I was saying I was talking about this whole conversation earlier, and I'm saying this: we're in new territory. We don't know where we're going in the West. We've never been here before, and it's not looking good right now in terms of the direction that we are going.
I think a lot of it has to do as well with the Taliban looking at the complete and utter degeneracy of the West and wanting to distance themselves as much as possible from that. And I don't blame them for it either, because I mean, what do you see in our schools? You got to be insane to send your kid to a school in the U.S. or Europe. Like you see all this, you know, gay, transsexual, whatever it is that they're trying to force down children's throats, which is very strange. And you know, why would they want that? There was a clip I saw of a female reporter over there, and she asked, "Oh, now that you've taken over, are you going to allow women in positions of power?" And they just, like, in government positions, and they just started laughing, like, "What a stupid question!" And he was laughing so hard, he asked them to turn the camera off.
Allah al-Musta'an. I mean, like you said, they've seen the Frankenstein experiment that is called feminism. They've seen it take place and play out in the West, and they're like, no, thank you. We're good. We're okay. We're good. Keep that to yourself. And actually, I think there's a degree of arrogance that the West has in their automatic presumption that our way is the best way. Obviously, it's like this presumption. Obviously, we do things the best way, yani. So anything that deviates from that norm is frowned upon, and there's an arrogance in that regard. But yeah, that's a different discussion with regards to the unraveling of the West. Oz F, thank you for the $20 super chat. I appreciate it. Learn to read Arabic, learn to write via dictation, learn Nahwa grammar, learn Quran. Then you can understand Hadith, and you won't need someone to guide you. Many people will sell snake oil when they are ignorant. Learn. I mean, you will always need somebody to guide you, Habibi. You know, regardless of what position of knowledge you reach. But yeah, your basic advice is sound. Barakallahu feek. I think we've got one more super chat here from Dude Desi. Shout out to you, Akhi Abdul Hamid. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah to all the brothers and sisters here, especially to you, Mahdi, and the two brothers on the panel, Abu American and Mitchell. Jazakallah khair, Akhi Abdul Hamid. If you've just joined, Abdul Hamid, we spent the first half an hour, 40 minutes, going through the article that you sent us. Jazakallah khair, Habibi. All right, I think that's the majority of the chats done. Is there anything else you guys wanted to go over, Abu American and Mitchell?
No, bro. Barakallahu feek, man. I'm just, you know, we gotta meet up sometime, bro. I need to come see my daughter in London, man. I really want to meet you, bro. I mean,
well, as soon as you're done, just let me know, inshallah. 100%.
Some people, it's like you're one of the few people. It's like there's another brother. There's the brother Alex and you. I was like, you know, these are brothers I just love. I've never met face to face. You know, these two dudes. You know, mashallah. Abu Malik, you know, I met Abu Malik before he became Muslim. You know, I remember when he was on his journey.
Wow, mashallah.
I was like, bro, whenever you're ready. I can't remember, it was something along those lines, like, you know, just let us know. But brother, mashallah, he already had it lined up, went to a masjid and everything. So, barakallahu feek, man, you know.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khair. It's been a pleasure, Ikhwan. Abu Malik, Abu American. To those of you who have been watching, I appreciate it. Make sure you like the video on your way out and sub the channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.